You choose to count?
I chose to reverse count. Alright, stream's up.
Wow.
Who wants our recap?
I think that should be Kenny.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, go for it, Kenny. Knock yourself out.
Well, you know, that may come to fruition, so.
Yes, that very well might happen. I remember the latter half very, very clearly. It's
Particularly the last 5 minutes.
particularly the last 5 minutes, yes. It's the first half that I'm having trouble recalling.
We saw
Where did we start?
Zaj.
Zod. Right. We went ahead and after resting at an inn the night prior, we headed to the Flames barracks come morning and encountered Zaj right as he was sitting down for breakfast. We tried to convince him to just eat his breakfast before getting into this. He insisted otherwise, went into a private room. Basically, he had to kick out a lower level officer.
I think he just didn't want us to. He didn't want to feed us breakfast.
Yeah. From there, we presented a summary of all the knowledge we had gathered thus far, including the body of one Mortlock Van Thamper. That was an event. He didn't even get angry, he was just tired. From there he got some alcohol, and then brought in a Hellrider who managed to who was on patrol training at the time that Alterel fell into Avernus. So from her we discovered some information on how they were being let into the city and who was exactly being selected from the camps outside. It appears that it was exclusively people related to the original Hellriders. She uncovered as much information as they were leading their way through the sewers from an area near the ports. She had a abandoned ship and swam to the shore herself before being led down into them. And there it gets a little muggy again, but we made our way back on up into the upper city. And after casing the Van Thamper villa, or estate, whatever we want to call it, we discovered getting in during the day over the top of the walls was definitely not going to happen. So we decided, let's investigate the sewers. We went ahead and located a couple sewer entry gate grates, and trying the first one, we were interrupted by a couple of the guards in the upper city district who were not easily impressed, we came to discover, by the flame badge. After that encounter, we managed to slip away by some clever thinking from Alexander, and found a secondary hatch. And after securing the area for just long enough, we managed to get that grate open and slip into the sewers underneath. Spent some time exploring, found one caved-in section, decided to keep exploring around, see if maybe there's an easier way in, because maybe this was just a happenstantial collapse. Then we found another collapse. Also fresh. I forgot to mention the first one was fresh. So we decided this is obviously intentional. The rest are probably like this. Let's go ahead and start digging our way through. After a while of excavating the collapse, I believe it was Alexander, spotted the markings of a glyph of warding, just the edge of it on the ground. And we discussed if we should continue, and after a bit of back and forth, we decided we would carefully continue to excavate the upper portion.
On the wall.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid the glyph of warding.
Trying to avoid the glyph of warding. And so we kept doing that, only to discover that the way that they had set up the glyph of warding was to trigger once a certain amount of weight had been lifted off of the glyph.
And the way we figured that out is when it went kablooey.
Indeed. Warden is currently prone deep in there, with Valentira pretty close behind, passing the rubble back to the rest of the group. As it started glowing, Moon called out, "It's glowing," and kaboom! That is where we left off.
Indeed. Thank you, Kenny. Take your inspiration. Feeling you might need it. Yeah. So to not waste any more time, we're going to pick right up there as the explosion finally detonates. I do also have this image in my head, the freeze frame of Warden in the rubble. Like, right as it's about to blow up, and it just freeze frames on his face, and then you hear the voiceover. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Let's go back.
It's funny, because I had the Seinfeld "We'll be right back"
Oh yeah, that's a good one
stuck in
too.
my head from last one.
Well,
Be continue.
most of you probably. Some of you, maybe not.
Ugh.
Yeah, so with Moon saying it's glowing, and just a collective half second where I think everyone's thought in that moment is, oh shit, and then an eruption happens. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Does prone have any effect on that? Because you did say it was prone in there.
You have disadvantage based on your position. Unfortunately.
Oh,
And that is
okay.
control?
Yes, control.
Oh, wow.
Moon is like the cat that just spotted the laser pointer being the glowing edge of the circle, like, ooh, it doesn't even bother to move.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed by that roll. Wow.
The dumb cat motif right here. Thank you very much.
Oh, jeez, guys.
In spite of my more unfortunate position, I still rolled higher than
Warden's
Valentira.
the only one that succeeded.
Who? Warden?
Yeah, the DC's a 14.
And he's
The
right
one
on top
person
of
in the
it.
most unfortunate position
Well,
is the one who
Warden,
succeeded.
If you think
Does-
about it,
all of that rock is between him and the room and the lip.
I was just going to say, physics actually seemed to help him in this situation because the rocks, yeah, because he's basically flat in a crawl space between the pile of rocks and the ceiling, so there's not enough like space for a lot of the rock to get momentum and really slam into him. And on top of that, he manages to roll onto his side just enough so that the shield on his back actually gets kind of wedged between the rock and the ceiling, so it keeps him safe from actually catching most of the brunt of the force, and it seems to just hit the shield. He does get pelted with some of the rock and take some damage.
He does have a inspiration he could potentially loan to someone.
If he wants to.
I'm okay with someone taking it.
Like maybe...
It's just a matter of who.
Kate.
Like who?
Maybe Kate.
Probably Kate, yeah.
If she could manage to roll better. I don't know.
I have like +0 to my dex anyway.
Yeah, I know. Same with me. I don't know. It's just that, your cleric might need it. Otherwise, Moon has the best save chance, I think.
I think Moon has the best save chance.
So you're saying that I should take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't want Kate to go unconscious because we might need her. So.
Well,
Okay.
There's people with healing. Everybody has healing potions.
And I have cure wounds.
All right.
Two of us have lay on hands, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Take
you're
it from
going to
me.
give me your... Okay.
Everybody had healing potions before you got shotgunned by Rubble.
I just don't want to waste it because I have a feeling I'll probably not roll great.
Luckily, that makes it a success for Moon. Okay. So...
Question, DM? Is this elemental? Force?
Technically it is. The new spell is actually an elemental type damage.
Awesome.
I'm
going to use my reaction to absorb elements.
I was going to make it bludgeoning because technically it's rubble flying forward, but the spell itself is an elemental, so we'll keep it that way.
Okay, awesome.
Which element?
I didn't decide beforehand, so I'm going to roll randomly. It can be acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, so 1 through 5 in that order. Oops, that's a d6. As long as it rolled a 6, okay.
It did.
A 1 puts it at acid. Yeah, as long as it didn't roll a 6, I was just going to keep it, but sure enough, it's like, no, fuck you, DM. So it is acid damage. First one on the list.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, Warden is able to deflect a lot of the damage. Moon, despite being... no worries. Moon, despite staring at the glowing light, goes into cat reflex mode, and cats have an insane reaction time, so she is actually able to leap up out of the way as if a cobra was striking toward her, and somehow manage to avoid most of the rocks flying through the air. Everyone else, full on in the face with just rocks flying and literally shotgunning out through the hallway. The total damage is 26. Warden takes 13. Moon would take 13, and then firing off her absorb elements can take 6 total. So, once everyone has that damage taken care of...
Owie.
Yes, owie.
Okay, so I take off 5 off of how much?
No,
you just take... You take, what did I say, 6 total? 5 is how much damage you can do on your next attack using the second half of absorb elements. But you just take half of the elemental damage.
Oh.
So just to verify, what was the total point for the people who didn't save?
26.
Okay.
So I don't get any damage?
You take 6.
6.
It was 26 cut in half to 13 because you made the save, cut in half again because of absorb elements down to 6.
Yeah. That's what absorb elements does.
So, yeah, as the rock blasts outward and the tunnel is just suddenly filled with dust and steam as a lot of the acid vaporizes there in the instant, there's a lot of coughing and hacking and sputtering, and everyone's eyes are just jammed shut from the dust and the dirt suddenly flying up in all directions. Your ears are deafened as small space, large explosion going off, ringing in your ears, a little bit of Saving Private Ryan shell shock happening at the same time. But slowly, over the course of the next few minutes, the ringing begins to die down, the smoke and dust begins to settle a little bit and clear out throughout the rest of the sewer, and you begin to hear those around you coughing and sputtering, and probably like reaching around in the dark and maybe stumbling into one another now and then. But you're all still alive, and not buried in rubble, so it seems as if the ceiling of the sewer has stayed intact. Round shapes are good. Yeah. Sooner or later, you guys are able to open your eyes
the doorbell.
Yep, probably. You're not sure how far that sound carried, but chances are it was heard and probably felt in the vicinity. You're not entirely sure exactly where you are in relation to, like, the mansion, or how far from any complex you might be trying to find down here, but, again, underground sound is probably going to travel pretty far. On the plus side...
If it's a spray of acid, how much noise is that going to make?
It's not just a spray of acid. It's the glyph explodes outward itself, but it explodes outward with acid mixed into it. It's not just a spray of acid. It's an actual explosion that thrusts the acid out in all directions. Plus all the rock. On the plus side, Warden, as you are finally able to, see and hear again, and you roll off of your side and once again flat on your stomach on top of this pile of rubble, the space that you're in has widened a little bit, and you can see past it.
Hey! What do I see?
You see more sewer tunnel.
Right. Okay. Okay then.
Owie.
That was regrettable.
Okay, why don't we, just in case they're trying to get clever, let's retreat back and set up an ambush for anybody who's going to be entering the sewers and trying to come in behind us.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Because if somebody comes to investigate it, we can ambush them and get some information about how to. Oh yeah, that's such a good idea.
Hold though. Remember that Zarge's Flaming Fist cleared an area around here so that we could safely come into the sewers in the first place.
There's multiple entries.
One sewer entrance, not the entire area.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, but
Do I have any idea based on, because I was kind of leading the last part of where we're at in relationship to where we came in?
Based on the survival rolls you had previously, you have a general idea. As far as you remember, before getting your head knocked around with a bunch of rubble, you were to the east of the estate itself, and so when you guys are digging through a tunnel that's heading westward when the explosion went off, but you're not entirely sure, like, if you're right next to the estate or you're like a block or two over. You just have a general idea of the direction based on the previous survival checks.
Okay. All right. Also, I think we should probably take a wee rest and see if we can help ourselves feel better.
Yeah,
Probably
but
for the
not
best.
here.
No, we go back, find a spot to, like at one of the junctions, and move back into it and set up somebody to watch and pay attention to somebody, see if anybody comes around because of our loud display.
Or just set an ambush.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I said it too many words. Got it.
Now,
So
the
hold
question
on.
is, Are they gonna just go brute force and ignorance, or are they gonna try to be clever? If they try to be clever, they'll send people into the sewers to have them come in behind us. But brute force and ignorance means they'll come down the tunnel we were trying to dig out.
Or another way. There might be another way that we just
So-
haven't found.
Well, okay, so out of character, a quick question. How far into the sewers have we already traveled before we encountered this blockade?
Yes. Maybe.
That's the answer. It's just yes.
Well, it's not a straight line, and you guys got lost for a little bit and found another collapse.
Okay, right. I just wanted to make sure like this wasn't like near the
No,
sewer
you're
entrance
you're
that
good
we-
ways from where you entered the sewers. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what, late morning?
At this point, after the digging, we'll say it's noon. It
Okay.
was late morning. You guys got down here, walked around a bit, started digging. So yeah.
So, I'm still speaking out of character. Our plan is that we're going to then move back through the tunnels to some spot to take a short rest and watch
And-
for any people who are going to come from either direction of the tunnel. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that not the same as standing right where we are and taking a short rest and
Because they're going to be expecting us to be here. We want to be someplace where they aren't expecting us.
Like Jamaica.
Yep.
okay?
So is that the plan? You guys retreating a bit, finding a different spot, and setting up for a short rest, or setting up for an ambush?
I can't like one of us stay on who's not hurt.
All of us can actually keep a watch while we're resting. That's not an issue. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
hopefully we're going to be able to get the rest, depending. So,
Yeah, and
Right.
you'll just be short resting, so it's not like anyone's going to be unconscious.
right.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
That's what
so
we're
let's go
gonna
retreat back.
Okay. How far back are you guys retreating?
How funny a question that is.
do.
We're going to go to the
5
next
feet.
intersection. No, we're going to go to the next intersection, and then keep moving, and then go a little bit farther, and just out of where we can monitor the intersection, and wait to see who comes from where.
Hold on. Are we trying to get a short rest, or are we trying to ambush? Because, no, well, the answer can't be yes if we are close enough where we are likely to be interrupted during our short rest.
I think we should prioritize short rest as much as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
And keeping an eye out for anybody coming, and then follow them to see where they go. We don't have
So-
to ambush them. We can just try to follow.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know how far away is far away, maybe halfway between the sewer entrance and where we are now. I don't know.
No, what we need to is we need to go down like 2 intersections, because that reduces the odds of them coming down the tunnel we're in.
Yeah. Okay. You're the smarty pants. We'll follow your direction.
We just need to make sure we make a note or some marking or whatever of where we are so that we can get back here easily without getting lost again.
I've been marking the wall as we go. I had mentioned that.
Okay, when we leave, we're not gonna make marks until we get to the next intersection. because we don't want them to know which direction we went.
Okay.
The markings can be innocuous, though. It could be something that only we would know is actually there because we're actually placing it, as opposed to something obvious, right? So,
Right. I've just been kind of doing little scratches on the wall. Nothing too obvious. That's not like I'm doing an arrow or anything. I'm just making marks.
Caitlin was
Every
here.
time we get no, every time we got to an intersection, I made a mark on the wall. On the wall to indicate which way, on the wall of the way we went. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay, so retreating back to the closest intersection, the way you guys came from, and then a little bit farther back, so you can follow your own markings, and then,
Yeah.
Okay.
We're tracing our footsteps back.
So it's maybe an eighth of a mile back to the intersection, from the collapse that you guys were digging out, just, to give you guys some kind of idea. And so instead of taking the path that you guys came through, once you get to that intersection, you take one of the other two and just backtrack far enough that there's a corner that you guys can peer around and see the intersection, but also, sit down and catch your breath for a little bit. So...
Yeah.
Everyone go ahead and roll a perception check. Assuming everyone is, trying to pay attention to your surroundings.
Yep.
Oh, God. It's going to be one of those nights. Somebody knocked me.
Yeah, I wonder
is it me
who
or the
that
dice
was.
translucent? What's going on?
You look normal for me.
It looked fine for me.
Can
guess
I
I'll
be a
reload.
little
I don't know what's going
stealthy,
on here.
please?
Apparently not, with a 10.
That was my perception.
Oh, gotcha, yeah, sorry. I was about to roll a stealth check, so I assume that's what you're asking. Yeah, go ahead and roll stealth if you want.
It kind of makes sense, though. Caitlin's hurt. She's probably not paying as much attention as she normally does.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so over the course of the next hour, you guys are hunkered down in the spot, keeping an eye on the intersection and listening, straining to hear if anyone's coming, if anyone is investigating the explosion. But an hour goes by, and you guys don't see anyone approach the intersection. You guys don't hear anyone. Everyone is able to finish a short rest.
Cool.
Aha!
Okay, how do you roll hit dice?
It's
Clicking on the hit dice and nothing's happening.
Does it let you roll them individually, or does it just want you to do a short rest thing?
Oh, hang on. The short rest is a meal thing, right?
Yeah, the knife and fork.
Short rest.
Okay, now I see. Okay.
Mine's a cup of tea.
Really?
Could be a cup of coffee.
Interesting. I wonder why they're different.
Ready.
Well, the one in the actual sheet is a fork and knife. The one on the combat HUD is a cup of coffee. or
Oh, the
tea.
combat HUD. God, yeah, I was looking at the sheet.
Yeah. I help everybody. I help myself. I help everybody. Bind up our little wounds. Pass the bandages, please.
I'm 4 shy of max, but I don't feel like spending an additional hit die on that.
Yeah.
Let me check my feature about temporary hit points. I'm pretty sure that's only once per day. Yeah, I can only do that once per day.
Wait, what feature?
The false life?
I thought you could cast that at will. Which is why we were letting you get the max for it whenever you had a rest.
Let me take a look.
What's the ability name?
It's can't remember what it is. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Oh, yeah, it's your Fiendish Vigor or Eldritch Invocation. You cast False Life on yourself without expending a spell slot. When you cast a spell with this feature, you don't roll the die for the temporary hit points. You automatically get the highest number on the. Oh, they changed that. So, yeah, it's just automatically the highest one you could get. So even better.
Yeah.
We'll have to remember that
Well-
because that could come into play. You know, if you don't have the. Because before we were thinking you could just cast it as many times as you need until you got the max when you had the time. But if you didn't have the time, you'd have to cast it and keep whatever you rolled. But now it's just always the max.
Yeah.
Just
But it's
straight
a
up when
once
you
a
use
day
the
thing.
finish vigor.
Val and Moon both have aid from last time. Reminding you.
Yep, good call. It was what? Val, Moon, and Kate?
Yeah.
Okay, so short rest completed. No signs of anyone coming to investigate the sound.
That's
What are you guys doing
So
next?
let's go back to the cave-in. See what's on the
a
other
trap.
side.
Okay, so you guys go back to the cave-in. Who's climbing the rubble first?
Don't we have a stealthy tabaxi?
And let's maybe have the stealthy to actually look through the rubble before. Just make sure that
Yeah.
the other side is clear.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
entirely possible that they sent up a firing squad on the other side.
Maybe check for traps again.
Mm.
Okay, so Moon's climbing the rubble first.
Well, wait. Alexander is going to go down a ways out of earshot. He's going to ritually cast Detect Magic, and then he's going to come back and do a scan of the area before Moon goes in.
Okay. You do pick up something with Detect Magic. You get two, actually, individual little points of illusion magic in the opening to the rubble on your side of it.
Okay. I say, okay, there's an illusion. He waves everyone back, holds his finger up to his lips, gets everyone to move back a bit, and says there's two illusions on either side of the hole we made.
That what you said?
No, we didn't put it there.
No. Is that what Chiron said? There were that's on either side of the hole?
I believe that's what he said. Is that what you said?
I said it was on your side of the collapse. There are 2 points on your side.
Okay.
Okay.
An illusion. But of what?
Yeah.
Well, so Valentir is looking,
I'm looking
Down and-
around to seeing if anything looks different than the
Exactly.
last time we were
Anything-
here.
Roll
anything
perception.
out of place.
Or investigation, I suppose, in this instance.
Oh, all right. Quick
Yeah.
look, nothing but investigation. Wow. Okay then.
Goes right off an 18.
Is Val rolling?
Whoops, I missed. That was...
Me? I did.
I don't
Badly.
see your dice. I see Caitlin and Alexander's on both
No,
accounts.
that was I rolled on intimidation.
Intimidation.
I see that, yeah. What'd you roll,
Carrying the
Steve?
illusion into
Dating.
showing itself.
Yeah.
Does anyone else see my rolls?
Yeah,
Val
2 and a 9.
Yeah,
rolled
okay.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
2 9.
badly. 2
2
to 9.
deception, 9 investigation.
So what? Both. I saw everybody else. That's so weird. I don't. Neither one of my screens sees your rolls. Roll something else for me.
I'll do a intimidation roll.
I see the die on the screen.
See? Very good intimidating.
Okay, that popped up. I guess maybe just lagged out when it happened or something. So sorry. What were your 2 rolls then? The,
Mine were just a 2
9.
perception, 9 investigation.
Oh, okay. So you guys glancing around, and eventually Alexander and Kate are both able to confirm that, as far as they remember from the explosion, this all looks the same. There's that one little piece of rubble over there that looks kind of like a bird that Caitlin saw previously, and Alexander sees this like scorch mark on the side of the wall from where the acid came out, and it all looks pretty much the same. Nothing seems to have changed.
Is invisibility illusion?
Roll an Arcana check. It is indeed.
Well, Alexander, since he knows where it is, he's gonna launch a firebolt right at the illusion.
Okay. Make an attack roll with disadvantage.
That's what, control?
Yep.
It's not in my quick list.
Okay. You're not sure if it comes pretty close to the spot you've got marked thanks to your detect magic, and it seems to carry on through and eventually hit some of the rock back behind it, and you see it
Oh, he's
splash
gonna
over.
try to- Yeah, he's gonna do the same thing to the other one.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll. Disadvantage again. This one is much more pinpoint compared to the first one, and it slams into that exact point of illusion magic that you're seeing, and you see it hit air and dissipate and kind of spill out and, spend the energy, but nothing happens.
Well, he's gonna keep on doing it until something happens.
Okay. So Alexander just
Okay.
continues to cast firebolts after firebolts. Some of them finding the exact pinpoint locations. A few of them seem to glide past and carry on and hit the rock behind a little bit. But Alexander, after another 3-4 firebolts, both illusion little points in your detect magic, begin to move into the crawl space and then out beyond, and then eventually lose sight of them on the other side of the rubble.
They're moving?
What exactly were you firing at?
My guess is some kind of invisible creature.
But we heard no sound and no
Could they
reaction.
could they have been fiends, perhaps, immune
Yeah,
to
they were
fire damage?
probably resistant to fire.
Oh, you mean those little imp thingies that we were fighting before when they attacked us? They were invisible.
I should have done an
Could be an
Hydra
abscess.
blast instead. Oh well.
Well,
I
you
forgot
know,
that
they're
one
going
was-
back to tell whoever sent them that we're here then.
Well, then let's be somewhere else.
I know, but hey, let's follow them. And I climb up and through the hole.
Okay.
Oh.
Caitlin climbs up and through the hole.
Alexander just kind of shrugs and follows her through.
Well, Caitlin,
Mhm.
as your head and neck emerge at the other side of the crawl space, does a 16 hit?
No.
How about a... Oh, that's only a 13. I guess that misses too. Okay, as your head and upper shoulders pop through the opening, you hear two clinks of something sharp hitting stone on either side of you, and as you look up, there are two imps perched on the wall above you, now no longer invisible, that have just tried to sting at you, but both of them have missed horribly in the moment. Even though that they were invisible and you were prone.
Sacred flame.
So, well, we now need to roll initiative.
Okay.
Although I guess technically they shouldn't have attacked. That's the old rule still, but oh well, my bad.
Yeah.
So now it'll just be you won't have to worry about disadvantage because I screwed that up.
Right.
We also need a map.
Yeah, here's the thing.
We don't have a map.
No, we do. It's just I need to adjust some walls. Because I didn't expect you guys to be fighting in this particular section. So, it's a little cramped. So give me a second here while I adjust. And then I'll bring you guys over.
We messed the DM's plans up.
You have
Good
no
job,
idea.
everyone.
That's not an achievement that happens every week. Part of the DM's job is to be flexible, because no plan survives contact with the party. Ever.
Ever. Yeah. So you want to go that way? Well, crap. Okay, I guess you're going that way.
You may.
Last Friday, I had to go somewhere, couldn't run the game, so I had my daughter run it. My daughter went and looked at my notes. She said, "Oh no," right? Got it from the table, went away from the rest of the kids, called me, asked me, "Is it really that many ogres?" I said, "Don't worry, they'll be fine." She goes back and she says, "My dad said that you'll be fine."
And the TPK.
My dad said you'll be fine. Roll initiative.
Roll initiative. That's one of the worst things you can say. It's next to the DM grabbing extra dice or going and grabbing some extra minis from the other room.
Or be like,
much, yeah.
oh wait, I forgot this. One moment. Brings in a big mini. There we go.
Okay, so we have Caitlin and then Alexander. What's the order after that? Just so I can arrange the tokens.
Caitlin,
I'll be next.
I'll take up the rear then.
So Warden is the penultimate?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. I gotta put. So obviously, well, not obviously, but when you guys get here, you're gonna see that you're kind of beyond what is the edge of the map for this particular section. It'll make sense here in a second. And then, because the crawl space is difficult terrain, it's about 10 feet, so that should work. And Alexander was just getting up and beginning to crawl after Caitlin was kind of getting through it. So, let's swap to.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys all see yourselves on the far right of the map? Don't mind
I
the
see
name
three
of
of
the
us.
map.
I see three of us as well. Yeah.
I see Alexander, and that's it.
I see Caitlin and Alexander.
Oh, sorry, I extended that wall. Hang
And the
on.
two imps.
There you go. Now you guys should see everybody.
I see Alexander, but I don't see Caitlin.
Yeah, she's to his left a little bit. She's through the crawl space. So essentially, from Alexander back, you guys are still not quite climbing the mountain of rubble yet. Alexander's left is the first space where you're crawling, so it's difficult terrain. Next square after that's difficult terrain, and then after that you pop back out into the sewer proper. Or into the tunnel beyond the collapse.
Okay.
So, now everybody...
You would have been right on her heels. So it probably should be, yeah.
And then that'll make you prone, so there it is. Okay, so everybody go ahead and roll initiative.
Cool. I think you rolled initiative too early.
I did.
It's alright, I can get you on there. Don't mind the extra roll. I just have to do it so to let me adjust it. Because unfortunately, I think you have an 8. Yep.
Yes, I do. I is not a very dexterous person.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that you're prone and halfway through a crawl space at the moment, so, you know.
You're right.
So
And
then,
blocking the crawl space.
well,
In cross space.
Oh.
I mean, that's gonna happen. It's a crawl space, so, you know.
Yep.
Oh.
We are stuck waiting for.
Me to wiggle out of the way.
Yep.
At least we're not stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Oh no, there's an earth elemental behind you. Now you are.
What?
Nothing?
Shoot!
Ah.
Oh, we're so screwed.
Alright, I think we are set, so... Start the
Did I
combat.
Spirited Devil? I did.
No, you didn't. I rolled all those out in the open? Come on, Foundry!
It did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's fine.
I'll just ignore it for now.
Yeah, pay no attention to the dice behind the curtain. Freaking... They're hidden tokens and everything, and Foundry's like, oh yeah, here you go, you want your players to see this? No?
You can hide it all right now if you want.
Well, it's a little late.
You can close your eyes. Yeah,
Okay, sure. Everybody close your eyes.
Yep.
Oh, good. Oh, I gotta do each one individually? This sucks.
Faster you do it.
I see nothing, I hear nothing. There's nothing.
Nothing. I see nothing.
There. It's like it never even happened.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
Exactly.
What?
The Im's gonna attack
Who?
Caitlyn now that combat has started.
No, you already tried to attack me twice.
I accidentally went with the old rules. So what it should have been was I should have had you guys roll with disadvantage. But since I accidentally went with the old rules, we're just gonna, play with that rule set, which now just goes into combat as normal because I messed it
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, still the old force of habit coming out now and then. This actually works for combat music still, so we'll stick with this for now.
The
So,
hobbits made you do it.
exactly. No longer
Not the
invisible,
hobbits.
but Caitlyn is prone, so it does have advantage, and it will. There you go. That's a 22 to hit. For a total
22 hits.
for a total of 11 points of damage, 9 piercing and 2 poison.
Okay. Do I need to make a con?
This isn't the poison condition. This is just poison damage. I don't.
Okay.
Let me double check, but I don't think there's a. No, yeah, this is just straight up damage applied. All right, that's that imp's turn as they cling onto the ceiling above you and just use their long tails like scorpions and just sting down at you as you try to pull yourself through the opening. Next up, it's not actually Moon, as you guys may have guessed. So it's got, what's the range on that? Yeah, I can make that work. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, we'll get to here. As Caitlyn, you see flying around the corner a familiar
There's
but
more.
unsavory sight. As a winged purple fiend comes gliding into view, and I think you're just out of range, so it's going to be disadvantage. It'll be disadvantage anyway because you're prone, so. And latches onto the wall, and then the wicked tail just comes around and flings a couple of large spikes in your direction.
Does this one have any damage to its wings or anything because of... Well,
Not that you can see, but even if it was the same one, you guys long rested and short rested, so.
It has the opportunity to feel better too.
Oh, no way!
Was that?
That's disadvantage double
What?
natural 20s.
double
Dragon,
natural
wow.
20s.
Yep.
No!
Yep.
No, you're not allowed. No!
My dice are not happy, apparently.
Roll
No!
enough dice, and
Okay,
the one in
so
400 is
18.
going to come up.
No!
Again, it's
Alright.
technically still just a 1 in 20, but...
So 18 points of damage.
Unfortunately, yeah. 9 piercing, 9 points of fire as this thing latches onto the wall. And that first spike, you're so worried about the 2 imps on the wall above you that this thing flies in and just goes right into the collarbone, right between that point and the neck. And you feel it sink in and the skin already beginning to sear. And then it fires a second one. Disadvantage. Why didn't it roll? Try this again. No, apparently it doesn't want to roll a second tailspine. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
I assume I'm going to see another one here in a second.
Meets it.
18's your AC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like it's just lagging. I will roll that damage manually, and then I will refresh. So it is this much piercing damage.
Okay, so 11 piercing. I'm down.
No, it's only 5.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to refresh. I can see it rolled the 1d4 plus 2 twice on the camera account. My DM account hasn't done anything, and the thing is still in the box. Okay, there it goes. Let me see if it'll...
I'm down.
Oh, jeez.
I went down with the 5.
Okay. It's not letting me do anything. I gotta refresh this account, and then we will carry on. So yeah, Spine Devil flies into view, lands on the wall, and immediately just skewers Caitlin as she crawls through the opening. 2 well-placed shots, despite the range and the difficult angle of the attack. And Alexander, you hear Caitlin cry out in pain, and then see where a moment ago she was struggling to pull herself through, she just goes limp.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Chiron, are you there?
Hi, Ron.
Hello?
No.
Yep, we can hear you now.
Oh,
Yeah.
my internet just crapped out for a second, but
Hmm.
looks like it's coming back on now. I was just about to send you guys a message on my phone, but it seems like it's loading back in.
You sure about that?
I'm sure that it seems like it's loading back in, yeah. Doesn't mean it will. I chose my words very carefully.
Yes, you're quite the wordsmith.
Do you want to taunt the DM right now? You sure that's a good idea? Oh no, there was a second glyph of warding! This one activates
Oh,
as soon as
no.
Warden is right above it.
Oh no!
That was its trigger the whole time.
Oh no!
Is there any con saves for poison on this guy?
He doesn't do poison damage, he does fire damage.
Okay.
Which I didn't even roll yet, but I think you're already unconscious anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stop pulling on Elysium!
What happens when you climb through the hole first?
Yeah, like, why did you go first?
Well, you said everybody was just jabbering away, and I was thinking Caitlin was thinking to herself, we said we would chase down anybody who showed up. They're going to go tell somebody. And so she climbed through.
Yeah, don't go first.
Tell someone else to go first.
Yeah, that's what you do as the cleric. You delegate tasks.
You guys know the load-in screen you get when you open up Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My Discord is stuck on a static version of that, yet apparently I'm still here talking to you guys, so...
It is private and you must log in to access it.
That means you may have been logged out. Yeah, you might need to log back in.
Wow.
Calendar.
Oh.
My Foundry is just stuck on a white page on both accounts right now, and like I said, my Discord is messed up.
Lovely.
So I'm gonna go ahead and restart my whole computer right now because my internet is back up, but my programs are having trouble connecting. So I'm gonna be back in a minute.
Okay.
All right.